Good morning. Welcome to the Red Mic. I'm glad you're here. Happy Thursday, March 20th. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: Who moved my cheese? Um, in the title, I could not figure out a way to get that line from Arthur into this with and have it make sense and fit, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's taken the knife out of the cheese. Do you think he wants some cheese? If you think of any way to tie that in, let me know. um, Funny thing too, you may remember me saying that about a year ago. Hadn't figured out the title of this thing yet, and briefly I was calling it Game Changer. And, and as I was writing my notes and whatnot for today, the game changing was pretty apropos because whether it's sports or life, the game is always changing. And that doesn't matter if you're on a field, in the office, in your own life, the game is always changing. It never stays the same. That's sort of the core message behind the business book, Who Moved My Cheese? It talks basically that it tells the idea that basically success, stability, and opportunity aren't permanent. They're going to shift, they're going to move, they get taken away. Somebody moves that cheese. And it's all about adapting. Because if you don't adapt, you're going to get left behind. Now, in the book, there's two mice, Skiff and Scurry, and two humans, Hem and Haw. Well, Skiff and Scurry, they're used to scarcity, so when the cheese gets moved, they just roll with it, right? Well, Hem and Haw, they get mad. They try to analyze the unfairness of it all. So, who are you? Are you Skiff and Scurry, or are you Hem and Haw? So, when the cheese moves in your life, you've got to figure out who you're going to be. And throughout my career, throughout my sporting life, all of it, I've seen people respond both ways. The people who cling to, well, that's how we've always done it, are the ones who drive me the craziest. The people who don't get stuck, the people who recognize change as inevitable, they're not just going to survive, they're going to thrive. And it doesn't matter if it's a leadership shakeup, if it's a budget cut, a policy shift, completely new way of doing business, new database, whatever it is. If you move when the cheese moves, you're going to win. If you stand around complaining about how unfair it is, you're going to get left behind. To to paraphrase the late great Sean Connery in the movie The Rock, and this is not the actual quote. Part of it's the actual quote, but I left part of it. I rewrote part of it because, well, it's off color. If you want to know the actual quote, look it up. That's what the internet's for. Here's here's what Sean Connery said in The Rock, and I'm not going to do a Sean Connery impersonation either. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home with the prom queen. Think about that again. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home with the prom queen. So, yeah, moving the cheese, sometimes it's going to be incredibly unfair. Sometimes it's going to be very, very inconvenient. In fact, most of the time it's going to be inconvenient. Could be the result of bad decisions from above or, what you did. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you do next. So, think about these lessons from the book. Change is inevitable. Expect it. Prepare for it instead of resisting. Adapt quickly because the faster you let go of the past, the sooner you're going to find new success. You're going to get new cheese. Overcome your fear. Fear of change is going to keep you stuck. You're going to be just running in place. Nobody needs that, and you don't get anywhere. Keep an eye out for change and recognize the early warning signs to try to stay ahead. Let go of the past. What worked before may not work now. Visualize success. A clear vision. It's going to motivate you to action and adaptation. And embrace change. Change is going to happen. That's the one thing about life that's unchanging. It changes. And it often is going to lead to better, bigger, better, greater opportunities for you, your family, for your work, for your business, for your life. So here's today's challenge. If something is changing in your world, don't waste time mourning about what it was. Look ahead to what comes next, what might happen, what could happen, what can be, and train yourself to be more like Sniff and Scurry. Spot the change early, adapt quickly, and move with purpose. Because the cheese is always moving. You can chase it or you can get left behind. So chase it, win, and then go home with the prom queen. That's today's Red Mike message. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you find it helpful. I hope you're able to put some of these ideas and concepts into your life. And if you haven't read Who Moved My Cheese, it's not a long book. Pick it up. Get it very inexpensively most places. I appreciate you being here. And by the way, my wife was not a prom queen, but on this day back in 1995, I asked her to marry me. Thankfully, she said yes. So this year, this December, we'll have our 30th anniversary, and been a lot of change in our life through the years, and I wouldn't like to have done it with anybody else. Way out of my league. Again, thanks for being here. I appreciate you so very much. I'll see you again tomorrow, and don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.